Hello, everyone, and welcome to Movie Mandates. This is the show where my brother and I force each other to watch movies according to a certain monthly theme. By the way, I'm Kelly.
And I'm Andrew.
And this month's theme is cars, but not Disney. So
We
I've
don't
got.
hate ourselves that much.
No, and there's only two. Wait, there's only two cars, Disney? Is there like
There's
three
three
now?
feature films. There's a series of shorts starring Mater. I think there's a couple
And didn't they do
there's
a
they
planes
did a
because they're
plane
like,
spin-off.
why
There's
not?
a couple serialized shows. It's a whole franchise. I saw
Yeah.
the first movie. It's fine, but I have like that we're not talking about this, but
Yeah, that's the thing, is it was
the
Cars, not Disney. No offense to
yeah.
Disney, just offense to that movie.
Yeah, I mean, the movie's fine, but it's really based on having an affinity for, um, cross country road trips, and I don't
Mm,
at all.
mm,
So,
no.
yeah, so I just didn't really care about the theme of the movie. I mean, it's fine, it's colorful, it's well animated, it's cute. Some of the jokes land. The the weird world of living cars is kind of interesting, even though it makes no sense. But yeah, I didn't like it, and I have never watched anything else from that franchise.
Well, there you go. And not that we're talking about this either, but a great road trip movie is the Goofy movie. So there you go.
It
Uh,
is.
but
You know, it's
regarding,
its sequel's actually very good
oh god, it's so good.
and would actually qualify for next month's theme. But anyway,
But we're not even there yet. That
yes.
comes in like 55 minutes from now. Or depending on how long we ramble, because we are going to talk about Days of Thunder. But before we get there, since I mandated brother have to watch that movie, it is only fair that he challenge me in our segment that we call Trivial Trivia.
Okay.
All right.
So imagine a restaurant like a Hard Rock Cafe that
Okay, I'm there.
traffics in film nostalgia. One of the appeals of going there is seeing all the movie memorabilia, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
so you, Kelly, are now in charge of this movie memorabilia restaurant, and you have the budget and space to install 5 movie cars. So, which 5 of the most iconic film cars are you going to put in your new restaurant that will attract customers and make them scream, "Oh my God, that's the blank from blank"?
Yeah, right. Right. So, I've already forgotten because I was listening instead of like reciting it in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But so yes, this is all true. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the red car will have to be in there.
Okay.
Okay,
Would
the
not been
DeLorean
from Back to the Future,
from Back
sure.
to the Future will have to be in there.
Now, before
Uh
you go on, would it be the version that has
First
that's
movie
flight
with wheels,
converted, or
no. I don't want the
so
hover
not
DeLorean.
so not the Mr. Fusion on the back, the
Right.
original time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want first DeLorean. Um, just because I really like that one.
Mm-hmm.
I I hate that I'm going to say this, but it does hold such a place because of Grossmutter and because I think it was truly the first car centric movie was Herbie. So I think
The
that
Love Bug,
the
sure.
love bug needs to be in there because that's just kind of neat. And along those lines, just
I think it's
because,
earned its place in film history. Oh,
yeah,
would you have the pristine version of the Ferris Bueller car, or the completely destroyed one that landed outside the garage?
oh, I'd have because I totally see it as our movie theater nearby has a restaurant where you like sit in the car. I
Oh,
mean,
right. The
these aren't
tables and
iconic
stuff
cars,
are,
they're
yeah, they're
just
just plastic
cars.
chairs and stuff, right?
Right. So, um one would imagine I'd say Knight Rider, but I'm not going to say that because I've never watched it. So I don't even know what that car. You could bring that car and park it in my garage, and I'd be like, "Get this. This is my car." This is not my beautiful car.
No Love for Kit. Well, I mean, I did say filmic, and that's a TV show. That there was
They didn't
probably
do a thing
there was
with
probably a TV movie of Knight Rider, but I don't. I think they did a film version, but I don't think it was David Hasselhoff. I think it was like they rebooted it or something. I don't remember. It was probably bad.
Probably. So I definitely think Christine needs to be there, only because it's kind of scary and funny to like just have a Cadillac that's wasn't she a Cadillac?
I'm pretty sure Christine's a caddy. I'm trying to remember what model car the one from Ferris Bueller is. Is it a Ferrari or Porsche or something?
Oh, they even say it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
They even say it, and it's red.
It's red.
This is how much I know cars.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm so good at them. And then I think my last one would have to be I don't want to be trite, but like, can I say the Land Rover? I don't know why I'm pretending to drive something. The Land Rover from the Jurassic Park.
Sure. It's a Ford Explorer or something like that. But yeah, that's definitely an iconic car.
I love it. I love it so much. I I need to swap one out.
Okay.
Let's swap out Christine for Bumblebee.
But the Transformer?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Because I'm in love with him.
The one from the film Haley, Bumblebee?
Yeah.
The one of the Haley Steinfeld, something like that. Yeah.
If I knew how to spell it, I could tell you how to pronounce it, but I don't know which one is the E or the I. So it's either Steinfeld or I think Steinfeld. I don't know.
I think so.
But yeah, okay. Christine, I'm sorry, no one would want to eat at that table anyway because they'd be afraid to. So
she's watching me.
So, or that's where you put the troublemakers, like someone that you actually don't want. You're like, oh, I'll put you at this table. But yeah, no, Bumblebee, because it's also yellow, and that's an exciting experience.
That's true. You've got Ferris Bueller, which is red, Christine, which is blue, if I'm not mistaken. Or Christine went by, but she was blue. Herbie's white.
The DeLorean is silver.
The DeLorean's silver.
And the Land Rover, which isn't a Land Rover,
kind of a green and yellow and red.
Yeah, so you need
what was the last one? What did
Bumblebee now.
Bumblebee, yellow.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
Any of those would be on yours? Because I feel like you're like you went nowhere near where I thought you'd go, Eisen.
Actually, no. The DeLorean would be on my list. There's a high chance I'd pick the Jurassic Park tour vehicle, the actual tour vehicle, not the jeeps that the vets and the staff use to get around. The actual enclosed vehicles that the visitors ride in that run along the tracks.
Yeah, the one that the T-Rex with the top window.
Yeah, that vehicle. There's a good chance I would have picked that, but I'll tell you one that definitely would have been on my list is the Ecto-1.
Oh, mother
Ghostbusters.
of mercy! Yeah, of course it would. Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, the DeLorean from Back to the Future would definitely be on there also. So
yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and I think the Love Bug is a really good choice because most of mine would probably, because I was born in 80, most of mine would be from films within my lifetime. And it's nice to have, a classic film car from an older era.
Yeah.
So. And I have to say,
boy, did Grossmutter like that movie.
Which one? Love Bug?
Yes.
It's interesting.
I'm pretty sure you and I never had a choice as to what was on the television. So since that was on multiple times, I have a feeling she liked it.
Yeah. It's interesting. The trucks from Sorcerer, the film we watched last time.
Yes.
I wouldn't call them iconic because I don't think the movie's very good. It's memorable, but they're memorable. I think a lot of people, if you had the ability to rotate things in and out, you might make room for them for a spell. Be like,
Mad Max has some interesting cars too that kind of have that same.
Particularly feel. early films, the Mel Gibson era, that car that he had. Interestingly, in the Charlize Theron film, from a few years back, uh, Max's car is destroyed in like the first 10 minutes of the film.
Right, yeah.
So yep.
But
And then those are, then you could probably be like, but do you include sci-fi vehicles? Like, would you want to get like one of the swoop speeder bikes from Return of the Jedi that zip through the forest, if you could get one of those on display or something? It's not a
or
real
the
car, but
what is the thing that Luke says about the womp rats from my Land Cruiser or whatever? Like,
he's in a T16. I can bullseye womp rats in my T16, and those are barely more than 3 meters. And I remember thinking, I didn't catch it when I was really young because I don't know what a meter was, but when I was into my teens, maybe I was like, three, whatever a womp rat is, that thing is big. I wouldn't want to tussle with that son of a gun on foot. I tell you what.
Have you ever seen, there's a Family Guy episode that makes fun of just that moment in like specifically?
I have not.
Obviously. I prefaced it knowing
that, I have not seen
know.
this episode of the show I don't watch.
But they actually they play out that scene and the dude goes, all right, God, you don't have to be such a dick about it or whatever, because he's talking about how, oh man, that's impossible, so small, even that's for impossible. And he's like,
shit, I can do it. Okay, dick.
Jesus. Right. I'm just like, you don't even think
we got a real hero here. Well, you could just single-handedly win the rebellion, or
all right, well shit, go right ahead, Mark. Yeah, not that his name was Mark. I mean, the actor was.
Well, the actor's name still is Mark.
Still is a national treasure.
He's a good one.
Yeah, he is. And so is Tommy Cruise. Segue. No. A national treasure.
Is he? Well, I mean, he's earned his spot in film history. I don't like him as a person.
It's interesting. Again, I've never met the man, so I can't really.
No.
But I hear really good like, just as a partner in filmmaking and stuff, I hear he's very gracious. I hear he's very like thoughtful to, but I guess when you have money, you can actually hire people that can think for you also.
Well, I mean, at least if he's pleasant to work with, hey, that's a leg up on others.
That's fantastic. So yes, this is very true. I did zero research because, let's just talk about it. This wasn't his first rodeo.
Tom Cruise?
Yeah. Days of
Thunder. No.
He was
he'd already
person, right?
Yeah, he'd already done Top Gun with the same director. Tony Scott? I was gonna say Ridley Scott. It's not Ridley Scott. It's Tony Scott.
Yeah.
A Cocktail, I think, was like the year before that. And
then
Risky Business was earlier than that.
That was what put him.
So yeah, he was already Top Gun this is a recollab between him and Scott. So
it was just the start of this movie.
No idea how far into Nicole Kidman's career this was, but what I was particularly interested in, I think this is the only movie I've ever seen her in where she's using her own accent.
Yes. So I'm going to fast forward this movie or this conversation really quick since you just brought it up.
That's how I watched it. No,
and he was like, sure. No, well, we'll get back to it because maybe I will start at the beginning, because here's something that I thought was very interesting about the movie and how it started.
Mm-hmm.
So very quickly we get to Randy Quaid. First off, you sit through the opening and you watch like the list of actors who are going to be in this movie, and you're like, holy crap. And it's wonderful to see how far down the list they are. Like John C. Reilly, I'm like, yeah, because
this had to be one of his early roles. Yeah,
because now he'd be at the top of the list. Same with Nicole Kidman. She was very low. And then
she doesn't even come in until halfway through the movie. Carrie Elway's another one.
Yep.
I think Princess Bride was before this, but that was more of a.
He looked real young though in this. He looked real young. I don't know when Princess Bride was, but he looked really young. I mean, not that
I was like
Even
the
now.
year or two before, but
This
I'm
is all
too
just
lazy to look it up.
but no, but it starts, and within the
One of
first
Robert Duvall's first movies too. No, no, it's
sure.
not.
Sure it is. So Randy Quaid, back when he was looking fine and
And
healthy,
not a terrible person.
correct? Randy Quaid and Bobby Duvall are putting together this team, and Michael Rooker, hello,
Michael Rooker, yeah.
is there, and hotshot Tommy Cruise comes in on his little motorcycle, and he does a perfect run, right? They're like, oh, who is, don't scratch that. So they're like, oh, there's a little bit of, chest thumping. And then he runs this perfect thing. And then he tells Bobby Duvall, you build me a car and I will win Daytona for you next year. And then it goes straight to some races. But like at that exact moment, I was like, this is going to be a very short move. Like, what are they going to do? Like,
Yeah,
he's already really good. He's already had, like, within the first 15 minutes, he sells them on himself. He's amazing. You established that Michael Rooker is jelly of him. And it just like, and I was really just like, where are we going?
so what, yeah, it's like, what are we doing with this movie? Is it just going to be another 90 minutes of him just winning all the races without a problem? I mean, because I was thinking about that. I was like, because usually a sports movie, which is what this is, the interest comes in because your protagonist or team of protagonists are the underdog. It's, can these people um, put aside their differences and come together to win the big thing? Or can this person overcome their own personal demons to get out of their own way and achieve their goal? And the fun is watching them achieve that. But
Right.
the way this movie starts out, it's like, oh, he's the best there ever was, so he's going to catch all the Pokemon. It's like, what are we going to do for the next 90 minutes? I guess this is going to be focused more on interpersonal relationships and character drama than it is actually sports. But no, as Robert Duvall does mention in that opening scene, he's like, yeah, that was great, but let's see how he does when there's actual other cars on the track.
Yeah.
And yeah, he is not very good.
Yeah,
when there's other cars. So okay, it's a sports movie, it's an underdog thing. Are we going to be able to come together as a team? Me in the car, you in the pit, John C. Reilly,
being
balancing my tires, and will we win the big game or win
Daytona?
Daytona.
I'm so glad though that you had that same thought, because I really was just like, not.
I'm like, this is gonna be a real boring movie.
Like,
on the other hand, unless the point of the movie is just watching someone who's just the best at, because I mean, you have movies with characters who never have to try, like James Bond. Sometimes it's like he's always going to be fine, or Liam Neeson in the Taken stuff. I mean, he's just pals, Schwarzenegger and whatever the hell he's doing. I mean,
pretty sure he's gonna win.
Yeah, you watch Commando is a fun movie. His daughter gets kidnapped by bad guys, and Schwarzenegger has to kill them all. And there's no doubt in your mind that they don't stand a chance.
Yeah, they're gonna get mowed down.
He doesn't, absolutely. But the fun is watching Schwarzenegger just tear through these dumbasses. Yeah. So maybe you could just have some really cool racing.
Yeah,
like Speed Racer, which is a good movie, and people.
So there was really cool racing, though. There you go. I never saw Speed Racer. But no, there was really cool racing in it, and
yeah, and this was pre-CG, so this was all practical racing, all actual cars running around. So
it was, whatever I feel about the movie, and we'll get into stuff, it was fun to watch. At least for me, I was like, okay, it's just fun to watch him. I mean, Bobby Duvall is great always, but really their relationship is great, and him trying to teach him about the car and how it really works, and how they compromise about how they're going to work together. Like, maybe if you didn't run out all the tread on my tires, and you'd have tires, and la 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 la. However, let's dive into that for all of 30 seconds. In this scene, we're Tom Cruise, Cole Trickle. He is hard on those tires. He melts those tires because of the way he drives. And
Mm-hmm.
so Bobby Duvall's like, you give me 50 laps the way you drive, and then I'm going to give you some pointers and do 50 laps the way I drive, or I want you to drive, and we'll see, who's different. Just be honest. And I was like, look at you, compromise. And I love this. But he gives him the most strange lesson to make him drive better, because they show you like he does his 50 and then Tom Cruise pulls up in the car as John C. Reilly and the team change the tires, and Bobby just leans in and he's like, all right, now when you do these next 50, do it better. Basically, he's just like, do it better.
I'm like, I'm
he
not
gives
even
him like
sure
a
what his advice was.
Yeah, he gives him like a for instance. He's like, think of it like you're icing a cake. He didn't say that, but like literally he gives an analogy that you're like,
right, you would
okay,
use a spatula instead of a wooden spoon, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah. And he goes, all right,
How the fuck
bye.
does it translate to drive a car?
And then the next scene, he's like, yeah, his tires, my tires. He shaved
yep,
6 seconds
faster, and he
it was,
didn't destroy the tires.
So
my way was better. I'm not sure what his way was. Stop driving like an asshole.
I was super excited to like maybe learn a little bit more, and I'm just like, was this
I mean, maybe it was like, hey, you see that needle, the RPM needle going into the red? When it's there, shift into the next gear, asshole.
He does give him the RPM lecture at a certain point, but that's the thing is that there were two terrible editing moments in the movie, and I wasn't sure. Well, one, but this one I was like, was something cut or were they too lazy? Because truly, in my head, the words that he gave him would not have, especially this character who doesn't know anything about the mechanics of a car, and maybe that's why he didn't go into the mechanics of the car, and that's why he was like, use a wooden spoon.
The early reveal about Tom Cruise's character is he just
drives.
He can drive, but he couldn't change a tire or change oil. He doesn't know what RPM means. Whenever the problem, it's not dramatized well. It's not dramatized at all. It's just stated.
Yeah.
It's like, when you talk to me, Robert Duvall, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about because I don't know what any of those words mean. Cool, but Robert Duvall hasn't actually told you anything technical or otherwise. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there are a few things that just were implied and not shown, and then some things that were like that. When they say that, I'm like, because I thought about it, and I'm like, well, they have gone through a lot, and so obviously they're, you can, think that that's what's happening, but
yeah.
So okay, so yeah, so he's racing and he's getting better, and basically that's kind of how it goes. You learn some backstories of people. You learn who John C. Reilly is, and they just kind of like let it go. He's the son of the dude who died last year in Daytona.
A thing that opens the movie. So it's they open the movie with, this guy who died in a huge explosion last year, and then
Bobby Duvall built that car.
They're trying to get Bobby Duvall back in the game, who left racing so that they wouldn't be subject to an investigation because he built the car that the guy crashed in, and that amounts to nothing really. It's certainly not important to John C. Reilly's character.
Yeah, you find out that John C. Reilly is the kid, and he just has this look like,
yeah, kind of blue,
and I'm like, that's like a side movie. That's like...
it doesn't have really any thematic resonance or relevance to anything. It's just kind of weird.
Which to me, you didn't need him to be related. It added nothing. The car crash was something that loomed over Duvall's character because he was afraid to.
And there's no tension at all between John C. Reilly and Robert Duvall.
No, they're like buddies. They're great. So yeah, there's no reason he should have been the kid.
Yeah, it kind of, it's like we're not doing anything with it.
Yeah, that
Um,
was dumb.
weird. Okay, I'm just gonna come around and say I don't like the movie.
I know because it is shallow.
Here's
Jeremy hated it. This
yeah,
one, he got up this morning. It was the first thing out of his mouth. He's like, "That movie last night."
yeah. I flat out didn't like it. On movie mandates, we've been kind of having a run since April, well, since May's disaster movies. Of all the movies have been
Real bad, man.
you know,
Not what we wanted.
not good.
Yeah.
You know, not terrible, but not good. This one, well, except Igby goes down. That I thought was bad. That I didn't like at all. Yeah, Days of Thunder I didn't like. I was very bored. Which was interesting because there's a lot about it that I did like. I mean, it's actually shot quite well. You know, Tony
Yes,
Scott,
it
not
is
surprising.
quite
I like the
lovely.
score. Even the needle drops that
Hans
they have in there.
Zimmer.
Yeah, it's got a great score, and the various needle drops are used well. The actual there's some great crashes in it. I think the racing could have been a bit more varied because
It was
it's
always going to the wall and pushing him
yeah
into the wall
it's him being pushed against a wall. That's like the only thing that he's
for
either
half an
rammed from
hour.
behind or he gets stuck against the outer wall.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, come up. I know this isn't like the animated movie where they can do things like backflips and stuff, but where he can like lift his own tire and put it up on the wall to kind of drive sideways or something. I know you can't do that,
Right.
but you got to come up with something. You see, here's another thing.
Okay.
NASCAR. I don't care
Okay.
at all. I so don't care. That is such a boring sport. And it's boring because the only interesting thing is watching people crash
Pit.
and get hurt.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love watching the pit.
oh, well, that's actually good. Well, just the I go for a movie about pit crews, you know. Um, but yeah, but generally sports movies, the genre of the sports movie doesn't matter if you like the sport or not. It's about the underdogs overcoming a challenge, and that's always fun. Whether it's it should work for a racing movie, but this didn't work for me.
It's
One
because
of the
Tom
biggest
Cruise is
one of the biggest problems I have with the movie is there is no connective tissue between any of the goddamn scenes or transitions between character beats. And we touched on this a little bit. We start out, oh, we've got a new driver. Tom Cruise is the greatest driver ever. Next scene, he's not the greatest driver ever. This is going to take some work. If you build, next scene, if you build me a car, I can drive it. I don't want to build you a car. Please. Okay. And that happens like 3 times throughout the movie. You're my rival now. Now we're buddies. I love you, man. Oh, I guess we need a new villain. Carrie,
Hey, Carrie.
come here. Guy that we don't know, has no established personality or relationship to anyone in the film. You're now the main villain because Michael Rooker had better things to do and drops out of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, Mike, yes, you're sick. You should go to the hospital. I don't wanna. How about I hit the underside of your pool table with my bat because clearly there was something there for him to hit, so he didn't actually damage a real billiards table. Because no one would underswing onto a pool table. They'd go on. It's like,
Yeah.
you go to the hospital. Okay. And he goes to the hospital and he says, hey, win Daytona for me. I will. And we never see Michael Rooker again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. He's like, tell him I'll call him. I agree with that.
You're my doctor. I didn't mean to sexually harass you. That was on me. It's fine. You're my girlfriend now. No. Are you sure? Yes. I'm your girlfriend now. Let's sleep together and do something that's not as cringeworthy as the animal crackers thing in Armageddon. He explains drifting with 2 sugar packets on her thigh, and I'm like, it's at least, it's exactly the same thing as in Armageddon. It's plot relevant. We're explaining something that does come up later. but the animal crackers thing is worse.
No, but
And then you're a bad person and I'm mad at you. I'm no longer your girlfriend. I changed my mind. It's
okay,
there's no connective tissue between it. There's just
you are
nothing
correct.
flows. It's just scene, 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 scene. Character relationships change. A lot of the convincing people are butting heads and I convince you to do something. It's okay.
Yeah.
Let's
So
here's
I'll
the
give
funniest
my
joke in the movie though.
oh, I can't wait.
I really enjoyed this. Tom Cruise is using the break room telephone to flirt with his girlfriend, and another guy wants to come into the break room for coffee because the coffee machine's in the break room. Tom Cruise is having a private conversation, so he doesn't want to let him into the break room. So he's like, and so he makes the guy a coffee, he opens the door, he hands him the coffee, and the guy knocks on the door. He's like, what? Sugar. And it's like,
Sugar.
why is it sugar? I loved that. That was great. Oh, that bit where it's like, yeah, Michael Rooker, I may be sick, but he's sick too, because I bet he just puked in the bathroom. No, I bet you did. Never comes up again. Not that specifically,
And
but
he just always leave like
I did
here's
think it was weird that that Tom Cruise walked off and you hear a toilet flush. I'm like, what is the point of that? I mean, that's some weird blocking, and then it actually comes up. I'm like, oh, okay,
so
cool.
strange. Like, yeah,
But yeah, that coffee joke was funny. I like that.
and that whole like the conceit that, the drivers don't want to ever hear about being, hurt or this because they, can't
Facing their own
but
mortality.
yeah, they can't face their own
Boy,
mortality.
I wonder
So
if there's a character in the movie who might have some interesting insight to impart, John C. Reilly, that could talk to
Michael
Michael
Rooker,
Rooker or Tom Cruise about this
right?
thematic drama that we're setting up.
Yeah,
The
right.
guy whose father crashed into a wall and exploded.
Last year.
He last year, it's fresh in his mind. He might have a unique perspective on it, but no, nope.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
So I agree with you that everything just went like moment to moment and some things went really slow. Like I'm just going to be pushed against the wall and rear-ended for a good half an hour. And the thing I think that made it the most disjointed, and then we're going to talk about Miss Nicole Kidman, or at least I'm going to talk about the thing that I think made it most disjointed is that there is no character arc at all for Tommy Cruise. He comes in thinking that he's the best. He doesn't really find humility.
No.
He doesn't. I mean, even when
that's the other thing. It's like,
pursues
I don't
Nicole
understand
Kidman.
technical stuff. I'll teach you it. Okay, neat. I guess he did.
Yeah, I guess he did.
There's no training montages.
Or
no,
Bobby.
with them crashing and him reading a book trying to figure this shit out. No.
See, I think that in it, because to me, I read it as like Bobby changed his whole way of dealing with it so that he could acquiesce to what
Michael Rooker's character?
No, Bobby Duvall.
Oh.
Because they're the two, like Tom Cruise and Robert Duvall are the ones that butt heads.
Michael Rooker has more of an arc, and
Michael Rooker has more of an arc.
He drops out of the movie.
Yeah. But yeah,
would you agree with me that Tom Cruise's performance mostly falls flat? Like everyone in this movie is great, but Tom Cruise is just kind of flat for the
because he has
there's nothing to do.
Most strange hero, I put in quotes, because there's zero substance to our main character. Like I don't see, there's no history as like, why do you have to race? Like we never get into like what is your drive, because we never get into what he wants to do.
Nicole Kidman even asks him point blank. He's like, I don't know, I can do it, so I don't want to do nothing, and that's the thing I can do. So
exactly. And it's like, so
he doesn't seem to be particularly passionate about driving specifically, just he recognizes he has a talent in it.
Yeah, I don't know how to do anything else, kind of a thing. And you're like, okay. Yeah, just a very interesting guy to follow, a very entitled guy to follow, kind of like a nasty guy to follow.
Hey, I broke into your house and
And
littered it with like $5,000 worth of flowers and balloons.
you want to go
That's
out with
sweet
me?
and charming and endearing, right? No, in fact, I'm getting a restraining order. That's really creepy.
So that is super 90s. But here's
Yes, it
what
is.
is very upsetting to me. Um regarding
And
Nicole
she's
Kidman.
still his goddamn doctor. That's a no-no.
Well, okay. At first, I was excited to see her because so I knew she was the love interest, sure. But I was excited to see she was a doctor. I was like, oh, pardon me, I hiccup burped. But oh, again, everybody for your listening pleasure. So she's a doctor, and I was super excited. I'm like, look, you go. We're gonna have a female in a role that's not just like a because of course I had no idea. I thought maybe she was gonna be a groupie of some sort or
Yeah.
someone else's wife that then fall, maybe Michael Rooker's wife, like to cause some drama. I didn't know she would actually be someone who seems to have good skill, even though she's, dumb as bricks apparently outside of the hospital. So I was really excited to see that. And she also seemed really strong when you meet her because he thinks so. This is what I thought was very interesting because we were talking about her accent.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise goes into the hospital. He's blind because he was in an accident. Not blind, but like he can't see at the moment because there's
He got wobbly
brain
vision because he
hemorrhaged,
hit a
and so he
wall.
can't
Yeah.
see. So he's only heard his doctor. And then when he opens his eyes and he can finally see and he sees her, he thinks she is a girl who has been called in to satisfy him because his friends got him a treat, if you will. And so he
Which,
takes
yeah,
her.
don't do that.
Well, first off, I think, and they all, and I'm just thinking to myself, of all, like, did you not listen to a word this woman was ever saying to you as your doctor? She has an accent. She had, like, if she wasn't using an accent in this movie, if she went American in this movie, then I could buy it. But the fact that she's like, no, hi, I'm your doctor, blah, 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 and I'm not even do the accent due to the fact that it would be really terrible of me to even try. Yes, you concur. You've heard me do impressions. They are delightful.
She has one voice that she uses for all accents,
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
which is
Yogi
a
Bear.
which is a very, very bad impression of Snagglepuss.
But so yeah, so he takes her hand. So first off, he should have known, and he's an ass clown. Second, he takes her hand and he puts it on his penis, and she says, "That's very interesting, Mr. Trickle, but that's not my specialty." And I was like, "Okay, okay, girl, good for you." And then she leaves. I was like, "Okay."
I
And
might
then
punch him, but yeah, that's pretty classy.
yes, but it was a really like it was just she had the power and he felt stupid, and I'm like, "You go, girl." And then he like corners her in a parking lot while he's very stalkerish, and then he corners her while she's backing up and he's like asking her out, and and I don't know if she was acting like she didn't understand like that he's asking her out because she's like, oh no, you don't have to bribe me, I'm just
The
your
guy's
doctor,
not
like,
subtle.
yeah. And he's like, can I take you to dinner? She's like, oh no, you don't have to. And I was like, she's being so cool. She's just like, no dude, I get, you're whatever, no. And then
Yeah,
in the
that
next
you could read it as she's oblivious, or, and I prefer the charitable reading, that she's giving
exactly.
him an out. It's like, oh
Yes,
no, you don't have to bribe me to
that's
get a
how I read
good
it too. That's how I read it too.
diagnosis.
I was like,
As a way to say, no, dipshit, I ain't going out with you.
yeah, give him a
That gets saved,
graceful.
allow him to save face,
Exactly. Like
which
he
he's
should have
not going
picked up that she said no, and she
to.
was
Mm-hmm.
saying no without making him feel like I was like, this is good. And then I thought it's gonna just
A skill women learn to keep men from killing them.
right. But like so that's what
It's
I was
funny
thinking.
because it's true.
But that's what I was thinking, that the relationship would build, like she was like, nope. And that he would keep trying, and like it would gradually become like, oh, she got to know him. Maybe she broke down his barriers, but no, he just broke into her apartment.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Or hired someone to do it.
or
I don't know.
hired someone to do it. And I was like, that's very upsetting. So the worst
Yeah, all my
editing.
flower delivery people, they all have lockpicks. They'll break
So,
into your house.
well, I mean, there's that
How
whole
much? That's a lot of flour. Did he have them? How much money is he making racing?
well, that's the thing. Do you remember
We need to get a
the
sponsor. Did you just put all those stickers on your car for no big deal? I mean, I thought all the stickers on the car were from sponsors. Are those little sponsors or something? I don't know.
Huggies? No. So yes, this is all true. So then when they're dating and she's in the car and he gets in a race
Mm-hmm.
on the streets
Like
in a
a
car
police
because
or
he's
a
pissed at
taxi cab
something.
cuts him
Yeah, a
off or
taxi
something.
cab. And he just goes off. And she's like, Cole, you let me out of the car. You let me out of the car. First off, she opens the door.
Stop the car and let the yeah.
And I'm like, he's going like very fast.
Very fast.
Faster than you're going to escape safely. I know you feel like you're going to die inside the car, but I'm going to tell you, you are going to die if you're outside the car. But then she opens the door and immediately it cuts. The car is parked and she's walking away. And I was like, that is like a sorcerer move. I was like, that's a terrible, terrible editing. That was the only one that really stood out. And I was so happy she got mad. And I am so happy that she got all pissy and she walked away. And I was so mad at her when she came back. Because also,
yeah,
they're in the exam room and she's giving him a physical to let him.
This is prior to that scene.
This is prior to that. So prior to that, and this is before they hook up, right? Like this is
immediately before they hook up.
Yeah, this is immediately before they hook up. She's giving him a physical, which is actually the worst physical ever.
In a room with no lights.
In a room with no lights, and I'm like, this is not a physical, but that's
and
okay.
Also she apparently like flew out to somewhere to take it. It's like,
yeah,
this is weird. Not a thing that happens.
This is not a thing that happens.
I've flown to another state to give you a physical in this room with no lighting.
Yeah, which is not even a hospital room. And so he the whole time is trying to kiss her and touch her and this, and she's doing her job. And I'm just like, that is so disrespectful. I don't care how into this woman you are. I don't care. But like, job. If I was trying, like, Jeremy and I work together and we don't like stop and, I love you so much. Like, we work and I tell him what to do because I'm his boss on show site and like, it gets done. But like, you don't interrupt someone's pants. You don't interrupt someone's work. This is what they have trained to do. This is what they want to do. It is a respect thing. And I take it very seriously. And I was so pissed at him that whole scene because I'm like, she is going to give you the okay to go back and drive, you boron.
Yeah, I would have been like, well, I might have cleared you for racing, but since you just smooched me out of nowhere, I'm thinking no.
Where? And so then, he's like all pissy at her. He's like, you ignored me. And she's like, I wasn't ignoring you. I gave you a very thorough physical. And I was just like, you should have read him the right act and been like, bitch, that's my job. But yeah, so every time she showed some strength, the very next scene took it away. And I was just like, what is that?
It's like they shot this in order and didn't do any reshoots, and they got to that point and like a studio note came in. It's like, no. It's like, oh, I guess she just immediately changes her mind. Okay. They're lovers now.
Okay. Right. So my enjoyment of the movie came from I thought it was fun to watch the races, even though it was very the same. I enjoy car racing. So for me, watching car racing was fun because I actually enjoy the sport. I like Formula One better, but Rush was a great movie.
Monster trucks, Carzilla.
Dude, I used to really get into monster trucks. So also, and here's something very funny that you wouldn't know because someone whom you're not a super fan of, and I don't mean like super fan. I mean, you're just not that big of a fan.
Yeah, I mean, Iggy Azalea is fine, but
I had no. Who did you say was fine?
Iggy Azalea. She's fine, but I'm not a super fan or anything.
She's so fancy. No.
I probably only know that song because of the Weird Al parody, but
okay, that's fair. So, Talladega Nights is the
Will
spoof
Ferrell
of
shirt,
this,
yeah.
and I had no idea. It wasn't until the Sweet and Low packet scene when he was talking about like going.
Oh, is
like
Talladega Nights specifically a parody of Days of Thunder, not just NASCAR in general? So a parody of NASCAR in general, but taking a lot of specific
Yes,
cues from Days of Thunder. Okay,
and John C. Riley's in it,
he is.
which makes
Now that I
it
think about it,
even better. So, but no, the whole thing about in Talladega Nights, they do the shake and bake, and it was like the Sweet and Low packet. It was all about the fact that
they're talking
John
about
C.
drifting.
Riley is the front car,
Mhm.
and what's his name, Farrell is the back car, and then they go around the corner, and Farrell gets to win it. And but they're a team, you see. So they create the circumstance for the other one
To
to win.
slingshot the other one into.
Yeah,
Okay.
rather than this one where Carrie was like, oh, he's gonna go up to the wall, and then he goes on the inside. But yeah, so what a terrible role for him. I mean, he looked good. Like, I will say, the thing about Carrie always is that if you have a role where you're only going to see the eyes of someone, you get this man. Or you're gonna like his.
He communicates smug asshole very well.
So
with very little change in facial expression. So he's doing his job very well.
The sentence
Unfortunately, he has no character.
He has no character, but he's good looking.
And he comes in at the end of the movie because Michael Rooker, maybe he had shit to do.
But it's so right because he comes in to drive the car for Cole while Cole is recovering. And then he's a novice, he's a rookie. And then he's apparently just as good as Mr. Cole Trickle Tom Cruise, because by the moment Tom Cruise is healed and driving, he has another car, another sponsor. And I'm like, that was that. Okay. And then, no, but the sentence that I was going to say that I said in my head before I said out loud, and now I'm going to share it with you because I'm like, it sounds terrible, but it's not, is that if you needed a character to have some of his face obscured and still emote like hell, then Carrie always is the way to go. But I'm like, not to obscure his face because you don't want to see his face, just because, like, I don't know, he has a beautiful face and he does well with it. And I feel
congratulations on your face, Carrie.
Good job.
Good job
having a nice
face. Done, sir.
Well done. Yeah, so I didn't dislike it as much as you and my other did. I didn't like it because one of your and my like biggest things is if I'm gonna follow someone through a movie, you got to make me want to follow him through the movie. And I was always just like, you again? Okay.
An absolute embarrassment of great actors, though.
Oh,
even though Tom Cruise is not much to work with and his performance is flat because of it. But yeah, just I love everyone in it. It's, you know, music's great, score's great, shot well. The editing, the actual editing is fine. It's just
clunky at times.
I'd say it's the plotting that's the problem and not necessarily the editing. Although there is one camera shot that feels like a mistake to me because it's one of the car POV shots and we're going around the racetrack where the camera just suddenly dutches for no reason. And I'm like, they clearly stapled a camera onto a car to follow another one. Not with, we probably should have used something more secure than staples. Maybe that.
Does anyone have any duct tape?
Yeah. But they attached a camera to the front of the car, and I'm like, did it jostle loose and like fall sideways in its mount or something? And if that's the case, why did you leave that in the film? You've got multiple dozen POV shots of the car going along the wall. You could just pick another one.
Yeah.
Reuse
or
one.
Use one of the old ones.
So I don't. It just.
Yeah.
I'm like, what was that? I said, no idea. All right, question for you. The crash that puts Michael Rooker and Tom Cruise in the hospital.
Yeah.
So it's set up. There's a crash on the track, and so there's smoke billowing across the track. Right. Michael Rooker drives through it, and Tom Cruise drives through it behind him and then crashes into Michael Rooker. And they both go flippity floppity. It's a great crash scene. Loved it. Wonderful. A lot of fun to watch. The way I read the scene is Michael Rooker deliberately turned his car so that Tom Cruise would crash into him.
Yes, that's how I read it too.
That never comes up. Ever. And I was sitting there, I'm like,
because I didn't understand.
Was it actually an accident? Because I thought Michael Rooker was just like, I'm gonna get this, and then I didn't think I'd go flying. It went south. I was just gonna get in his way and crash his ass again. I didn't mean to, concuss us both, but that never comes up again.
And so you are absolutely right, because I remember, and I think I just put it out of my mind because they were like, oh, it was an accident. I'm like, and they never brought up. I'm like,
yeah, Robert Duvall
accident. And then he says someone else hit him. He says
something like, yeah, someone hit you into him. I'm like, no, that's not what I saw. You're lying.
Yeah.
Oh, he's kind of, but no, this never comes up again. So I don't know.
Yeah, because when he T-boned him, I'm like, well, that was a stupid
yes,
choice.
not I'm well.
Like, why would you want someone to T-bone you?
I didn't think this through.
Yeah.
Especially the driver's side.
Is someone out there?
Is anybody out there?
I think someone's out there. Oh my goodness. Well, there you have it. Maybe, wait a minute. Maybe we're going to get on a better track soon, right?
Yes. Okay. God, I hope so.
Because this episode may have come to an end. But the fun will continue next month. And next month, our theme is back to school. All right.
What did we pick back to school for? What was it? Oh, September ends.
I'm like, because it's back to
I'm never going back.
Here's the thing. When you and I were going to school, school started after Labor Day. That is no longer the case.
Oh, yeah. Most schools start in like August now.
Yes,
right?
they do. But that's okay.
Do they get out earlier or something? Or do they just have shorter summers?
They get out at the end of May, beginning of June, depending on where in the country you are. So it's like last week of May, first week of June is going to be your answer.
All right. So back to school. There is an embarrassment of riches to pick from when it comes to back to school films that could fit the back to school theme.
There are. My goodness.
And so I'm like, do I pick something I've seen and want to share with my sister, or do I pick something that I want to see but she's probably seen? There's a good chance she's seen. Do I pick something that I've always wanted to watch, or I've landed on a film that I really hope I find entertaining.
Ditto.
Yes. As with all movies I watch, I genuinely hope I find it entertaining. But like, there are movies on my short list that are movies that I want to see, and I'll probably get around to watching at some point. There are other movies on my short list where I'll probably never watch it. So this is a good opportunity to actually watch it. So we're going to watch what I assume is the result of combining Dangerous Minds with Mr. Holland's Opus.
Dead Poet Society.
School of Rock.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either.
It is also a Broadway musical, but I've never seen it.
It
started as the movie.
I was going to say it was adapted. Did Jack Black have anything to do with the Broadway show? Do you know?
Maybe I'll find out and we can talk about it
when we talk about it next week.
One would imagine.
I would not be surprised. Yes, I would not be surprised to find that he had something to do with it. But I'm also interested to see how close my Dangerous Minds meets Mr. Holland's Opus thing is. I have no idea.
I'm very excited. I liked both of those.
The only thing I know is it's a well-loved movie. It's one of those cult movies that if you were like a late teenager, early 20s when this movie came out, you loved this film.
Yeah.
I
Or
don't
you
know.
missed it like we did.
Yeah, I never got around to seeing it, so I never got into Tenacious D or anything. I don't. I saw Jack Black in the Mario Brothers movie. Well, I heard him in the Mario Brothers
He
movie.
was in the Jumanji. Have you not seen the new Jumanji movies?
Not the new one. New ones. No, I saw
Oh,
the original one with Robin Williams back in the 90s. I haven't seen the new
okay.
ones.
They're
I don't know that I've seen Jack Black in anything. So I know who he is.
He's
Seems
in
like
this
a
movie called The Holiday with Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz, and he plays a leading man. And let me tell you, he is. I've always thought he was an attractive gentleman.
I did see the wrestling movie
Nacho
Nacho
Libre.
Libre Verde.
Verde. My green nachos.
What?
My goodness.
Don't eat the green nachos.
No, don't eat the green nachos.
Yeah, I saw Nacho Libre and I didn't like it at all. So
that I was not
but
anyway.
not because of Jack Black. I just the humor wasn't to my taste. I didn't think it was a very funny movie. One of those movies that like I would probably enjoy watching it with someone who was a fan of the movie.
Sure.
I'd enjoy that experience, but I watched it by myself because someone was like a big fan. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll watch it. I'm like, no, it's not for me.
You could watch that, and yet you still can't get through Anchorman. One day I'll understand you, brother. Yeah. Okay, and until then, if you would like to watch School of Rock with us too, check out the description to see where it's currently streaming or available to rent. And until then, you can watch Movie Mandates on YouTube or listen to it in podcast form on iTunes. And hey, if you like the show, you know what to do. Help us reach a wider audience. Engagement is key. So like, subscribe, ring bells, give hearts, leave reviews. Much obliged. Thank you very much. And with that, I am Kelly, and you can follow me on Twitter at GetEisengard.
And you can follow me at Andrew Eisen.
And we hope you enjoyed this episode of Movie Mandates. And we'll be back soon with another mandate movie.
Bye.